Hi everyone, and welcome to this demo of the MediCompli solution. My name is Mike Rink, and I'm pleased to be joined by Matteo Gubalini, who will be walking us through today's demo. MediCompli is a turnkey document management solution that precisely meets the needs of the medical device industry. For teams striving for FDA approval and CE marking, not just any documentation system will do. MediCompli includes everything your team needs to meet standards like FDA 21 CFR 11, ISO 13485, or IEC 62304. The solution is a joint effort of 3 companies, Clearvision, Comolitech, and SoftCompli. It's comprised of a number of components specially selected to form a total compliance solution. This includes a quality system built on Atlassian Confluence, approval workflows, and access control. And all of this comes pre-configured and hosted on an AWS server managed by the experts at Clearvision. I'm now going to ask Matteo to take over, and he's going to give you a first-hand look at MediCompli. Would you mind taking over, Matteo?
The quality system is a pre-configured space that can be found in Confluence. It's already deployed, and it contains pages such as change history of the product, so that you can see the differences between updates. MediCompli allows for customizations. For example, let's say you want to change the company logo. You can do this by simply going onto the company logo page. There are also guidance documents where users can access information on specific subjects, such as risk management. The quality system is a pre-configured space in Confluence that includes the quality system, the quality manual, quality policy, SOP, and templates. There are 17 SOPs and 50 templates. The quality system covers all the requirements of ISO 13485, ISO 14971, IEC 62304, and FDA's 21 CFR 820. And the focus of the system is on product development. The device lifecycle SOP, also referred to as design control or product development, is the core of the QMS and has been written at a very low level, i.e., within mind and audience not necessarily familiar with standards and regulations. The purpose of this is to empower users to create documentation related to the product as quickly as possible. The structure of the system is set up with 2 spaces. One is called eQMS Work in Progress, and the other one is called eQMS Published. Note, these names can be changed. The eQMS Work in Progress is where the editing, approval, and collaboration takes place. Once the document is approved in the eQMS Work in Progress space, it will be published in the public version of the eQMS Published space. Note that this mirroring feature can be triggered on and off. The eQMS Published space has a published version of every document giving all users a read-only access to the latest approved version, while they won't be able to see the drafts or the history, which are kept separately. The admins will have full access to all.
Sorry to interrupt, Matteo, but there might be users who are unfamiliar with the requirements for a QMS. Can you tell us about the reference material that's included in MediCompli?
There's also an example of eQMS, which is a copy of what was just presented. However, it is populated with actual content, and this is particularly important for templates. Templates now contain real-life content from actual devices that are on the market. The content of this example eQMS went through submissions, audits, inspections, and so forth. In summary, the SOPs are written at a low level. The templates contain a lot of guidance, and the eQMS example should be sufficient for users to guide them in independently creating their own product technical documentation.
Matteo, this might be a good time to talk about approvals. We know that QMS documents will need to be approved before they're published, and in MediCompli, this is done with an approval workflow. Matteo, would you mind walking us through these approval workflows?
Workflows come pre-configured to comply with FDA 21 CFR 11, and they are already assigned to the EQMS spaces. And just to give you an idea of what they look like, this is the complexity of the generic approval workflow. The reason it needs to be complex is to handle many scenarios, and they have been hardened so that users can't accidentally break them. Workflows are completely configurable, meaning users are free to edit, create, copy, deactivate, or delete entirely. The approval process for EQMS procedures, for example, may include steps like change requests, training, or publishing, but not all documents require these steps. We actually created a pre-configured space with a generic document approval. And you can see it's simply a matter of changing some parameters to configure whether it needs a change request, training, or publishing steps.
Matteo, you've mentioned FDA 21 CFR 11 a few times. Is that something that every team needs to be compliant with?
FDA 21 CFR 11 is a hard requirement if you want to enter the U.S. market. But currently the EU does not have such stringent requirements.
We've talked about building the QMS. We've talked about approving documents. But I know that controlling who can access the QMS is also an important standard. Can you talk a little about that?
For FDA 21 CFR 11 compliance, you will have Confluence that looks after the electronic records, workflows that look after the electronic signatures, and in addition, there's Atlassian Crowd, which is linked to the Confluence instance, ensuring that permissions, password complexity, and password expiration are all 21 CFR 11 compliant. The user has the ability to configure the password complexity according to a regular expression. The predefined value is just an example of the requirements. At least 8 characters, 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, 1 number, and 1 special character. So how do you manage all of this complexity? And how do you know what is doing what? We created documentation that's part of the solution. And there is a special space called Compliance Environment containing 4 documents. The first goes through how the system is set up, the spaces, what they look like, and what they're used for. It also describes the additional group that were created specifically for this solution and the additional workflows contained in the system. There are then more details on the workflows, how they work, the parameters, how to set them up, the generic interface, and a step-by-step view of what each state does. What the user is supposed to do, and who is allowed to do what in terms of transitions. Another document called Guidance for Compliant Use lists various parameters set for the different modules of the solution: Confluence, workflows, Crowd, and so forth, to make sure the solution complies with 21 CFR 11. Note that if the values are changed, which only the admins are capable of doing, we cannot guarantee that compliance will be maintained.
Thanks, Matteo, for that great overview. I want to speak for just a moment about the world-class hosting that is a major part of MediCompli. Your Confluence instance will be installed on an AWS server that your team will be able to connect to from anywhere in the world. The server is set up, configured, and supported by the staff at Clearvision. Clearvision is an ISO 27001 certified company and hosts Confluence servers for teams around the world. Their professionals will manage your server to keep it up to date and running smoothly. They also provide world-class service and support, ensuring any problems are dealt with smoothly and efficiently. We've reached the end of our demo. And I'd like to thank all of you who participated. I hope the information you've heard today helps you in your search for a compliant QMS. If you would like to learn more about the MediCompli solution, please visit MediCompli.com.